Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we talk about why we think Steve Akley's model has worked so well. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akley, as well as our special guests, Nate Weiniger, Steinkamp, and Darren McElroy.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey-oh. So, yeah, we're going to be talking today about my career a little bit and in bourbon, why we think it's worked so well. It's an interesting one to me because it's a show about me with people that I certainly know and are friends of mine, and it'll be interesting to see their take. I mean, but we'll talk about that and what I even mean by, my success. Is Steve Akley successful? We'll talk about why I am successful. I have to build the case like I do in everything in my life, first of all, because everybody thinks I'm just a moron. So we'll get to that
after. Successful moron.
Yeah, a successful moron. Yes, yeah. I always laugh, I'm trying to, do things with barrel picks and stuff, and people always think they know everything I do. People think they know more than me, which is interesting. But we'll get to that after the break. This is probably going to be me just having a meltdown after the break, but we'll see what happens.
Right.
For right now, Darren said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, Darren?
So, hypothetically, if you had a bad day, had to buy 4 new tires after you just replaced them last month, bad day. So, okay. What would be the meal that you would go to after having a bad day? What is your comfort food of choice?
Like the Isn't It Ironic song.
Okay. What is the song that, what meal should you have when that song is playing? Yeah, so you had a bad day.
I was thinking the Isn't It Ironic?
Oh, okay. So I don't know, comfort food. What would be a good thing? We're going to start with Nate. It seems like Nate's probably got something down here.
Yeah, I haven't had any comfort food for about 40 weeks, Steve. So I'm probably I would say, man, what would I want?
So for you, it would be like a rice cake. Would be
really go crazy with something like that. I think Mexican food.
Okay,
some type of Mexican food with. Probably a lot of it. So cheese enchiladas, probably a burrito on there, and then tostada. Like, I just load that shit up. Just a big plate of Mexican food and chips and salsa, and just gorge myself. So that'd probably be what I would do.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Steinkamp, what are you thinking?
One of the greatest gifts my wife has given me is one of those Uni pizza ovens.
Okay.
And I can make my own pizzas, brick oven pizzas on the deck in the back.
You got your process down pretty good?
I do. It took a while.
That's what I've heard. You gotta.
Yeah, it was talking about commitment and burning the ships and no going back. Yeah, it takes a while to get this thing figured out because it was bad the first 3-4 times. I've got it down now. I've got it figured out. So that's where I'm going. I'm a big pizza guy anyway. And yeah, if I can make my own and put it
Make your own
just
pizza.
how I want it. Yep.
You're telling me that you just had like the worst day of your life and you're like, I'm going to make a homemade pizza.
That I could fuck up very easily.
It's really good though. That's what I'm doing. Yep. Yeah,
He's
because then I
sticking
can
to that.
sit out on the deck. I can talk to Brandy. We can have a good conversation, drink some good whiskey, and get through
Like
it.
you're literally sobbing and you're like
Right,
putting
you're
olives
sobbing.
on the pizza.
Sobbing. And then I might have to. I'd have to
More
order.
olives, please.
I need more black olives.
It's the onions.
All right, Beka, what do you think? What would be?
Mac and cheese, man. That's a good comfort food. You can, if you cry into it, it's okay. It's already kind of salty.
Okay. I would say for me, a really bad day would be send the warden out and get a pizza, and because I just want to be at home. I don't. If I had like a really bad day like that, I just want to be at home. I don't want to be out. So yes, and the warden would have to get because we don't do delivery. I won't pay those delivery fees, and I'll call it in. I'll be like, if no matter what this woman says, do not give her an iced tea. So
Oh God.
I'm like, you can do it, but then that's on you. You're giving it to her for free. So yeah, so I handle the call in. So yeah,
That's why. Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
Darren-
That's why she's collecting that money from the mail, so she can actually get herself like an iced tea. Oh, they sent me 20 cents.
Yeah, she stole my 20 cents. Yeah.
No iced tea. So she's having a bad day, and Steve's like, "Don't give her iced tea, though.
Tea.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Making
worst
her-
day ever. Can't
Oh.
get a tea.
Oh yeah.
No iced tea for the warden."
I'd be retired by now if she hadn't drank all those iced teas. That's what's
yeah.
it's
No,
still
what?
gotta work.
I think that you should cut out cocktails, Steve.
No, let's not get crazy.
No,
Becca.
I think you should. You could be retired by now if you cut out cocktails.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think I can
They
do
say
that.
it's the small things that make a difference. So that feels like it'd be
Yeah.
too big of a cut. Just
Those
the
tiki
tea.
cocktails you like to get, Steve, are like $24.
Exactly, but there's no equivalent to that. To me, the iced tea, the equivalent is water. Get the water, and then it's free.
The
Yeah.
last time I was on the podcast, he bought like some tiki cup, like
For
right on the podcast.
$73, and he
Yeah.
still hasn't got it yet.
Yeah, I checked on that.
Nuh-uh.
It's shipping in late 2024. So yeah,
That's like
so yeah,
now.
it's coming. It's coming. Well, no, this is late. This is still. There's still
Pretty late.
time.
We
There's
just
still
went
time.
through
You
daylight
should order-
savings time.
Maybe you should order one of those charred oak cups. You might get that
Oh yeah,
faster.
that'd be nice. That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, for your tiki cocktails.
So Darren, you asked the question. What is your answer to this?
So what made me think of this question is it was recently my sister's birthday and my mom made lasagna. And it's not amazing lasagna, but it just always makes you feel good inside. It tastes good, but it makes you feel good. It makes you feel loved and happy. I don't know. I would knock on my mom's door and ask for some lasagna. I think that would be
Sure.
my go-to on the
You
worst
have
The
to
day.
put
fact-
some
the
heart
fact you
control
don't-
into homemade lasagna.
Well, yeah.
Is it? It's not a Stouffer's like lasagna.
No, it's a homemade
like,
lasagna.
yeah, it's like a
It's
homemade
actually amazing.
lasagna.
It's just, it's not like,
That is real. That's an actual hug.
yeah,
Right.
it is. It's
Giving
an indoor hug, and you
Yeah.
gotta love every minute of eating lasagna.
Don't you think his parents still to this day wonder how he's just not living in their basement?
Yes.
They gotta be like, how the hell did this happen? How the hell did he move out? Yeah.
Yeah.
You think? You think
I do notice he podcasts from the basement, so maybe he is in their basement.
he might just live in his parents' basement? Yeah.
Has anybody been to his house?
No, I haven't.
Don't
Yeah.
yell "mom" real loud. I just want to make sure.
It's true. He
So
is in the basement.
why I podcast in the basement is because I started podcasting down here because I sometimes have friends stay with me.
Ah, there
Oh,
it is.
there it
They
is.
are upstairs.
There it is.
Mom and dad, friends.
There it is.
Yeah, no, my
Oh, yeah.
roommates though.
Yeah.
Aren't
yeah.
those just your fucking parents, Darren?
Roommates, same thing.
I know they're roommates.
Yeah. One day, the warden and I are at the shop, and one of Darren's girls comes in. And she's like, "Hey, Darren, what's
Nuh-uh.
going on?" Oh yeah, yeah. One of it.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. So, and they're there, and she's flirting with him, and I'm like, I could tell he's uncomfortable because I'm there and all that. I finally said the word. I said,
No, I was not uncomfortable because of you.
I said, let's just get out of here. We need to, because I was going to be leaving. It was a Saturday. We're going to be leaving and going out anyway. I said, let's just leave now. And then as I leave, I hear Darren tell me, hey, you got to empower your people. You gotta treat them well. So that's why I let him go early today. I'm like, he's acting like he owns this goddamn place. Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Oh yeah, he did.
You're fucking lying, Steve.
He was trying to close the deal with this little strumpet.
Well, I hope you let her or let him.
Oh, I did. I didn't say.
I hope you said, "Hey, thanks for letting me go early, boss."
I didn't blow up his game. I let it go. So I was like, yeah, okay.
Does she think that he owns the shop?
Oh yeah, she did.
Oh,
Yeah. That's why she was there.
Colonel Darren.
The classic Uncle Bones move.
Colonel Darren.
We call that the Uncle Bones.
Uncle Bones has done that.
The amount of times that we have girls come in and they go, I met the owner over at the casino. And I go, really?
What was he doing there?
I go, what's his name? Or I go, what does he look like? They're like, oh, he's like in his 50s. I'm like, oh, okay, that owner, of course, yes. Kenny.
Royce's mother loves when Uncle Bones does that. That's who loves that game the most.
Yeah, it's
Royce's mom.
It's a dangerous game because it's like some, questionable women and they come and say,
course.
the owner, and I go, huh.
Oh
First
yeah.
I said, "Uncle, you're gonna get me shot." Allergies, when they come in here.
Uncle Bones is a reality show waiting to happen. I mean, yeah. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? I'm going to go first. I've got Blue Run here. This is the trifecta blend. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully this is explosive. I haven't opened it in a while. Decent. It could be enough. We're going to see. All right. Darren, we'll let you go since you're actually playing this time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I went upstairs and got a cork pop. So I got this Octomore Scotch whiskey.
Oh, God. Terrible.
I thought he worked in a barrel shop, Steve.
I know.
You charge him double? Why does he not have any fucking whiskey to
This
drink?
fucking guy's got samples, and then he brings out a fucking scotch.
Yeah, then he comes out with scotch.
Yeah.
Well, he was going to get to the whiskey,
that Darren
but
works at the barrel shop.
he was going to get a whiskey, but
I got
Mom and
replaced by
Dad
Beka.
were in the whiskey room upstairs, so he had to just go to the scotch. So.
Right. Yeah. Hey, that's actually his
took
dad's there. He stole that from his dad. So, yeah. I'm sure I saw a little line on the bottle, so you're going to have to replace that with some water.
Yeah.
I saw you're going to fill back to that level because dad.
urine.
Yeah. Or urine. All right. Steinkamp, you're next.
I also have some cherry bomb.
Okay. Nothing there. I've got the lead still.
Those.
Beka is next. Beka, what do you got?
I've got some Hidden Barn bourbon whiskey here. This is from Series 1. This is batch 23B.
Okay.
A best of class winner.
Okay.
The best of class winner.
Wow. Okay.
Bam.
Yeah, there's some squeak there, but not enough to detract any sort of points off of it. That's our lead. Probably going to win based on what Nate's been throwing out there so far tonight. But Nate, you got a chance here. You got a chance. So let's see what you got.
No, I don't even know if I want to go. Honestly.
Oh, Nate.
This is embarrassing.
Don't be Darren.
All right, I've got a bottle of vodka here. I'm gonna in honor of that.
Whipped cream
So I
flavor.
got Four Roses. This is our tater gravy pick. Came out of Thanksgiving, so as it's coming up on us here, I'll do this one and see what happens.
Okay.
Squeaky.
There's a lot going on there.
It did make noise at least. Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
The squeak and the slosh, and yeah. There was a cork pop in there too somewhere, but Beka wins. So cheers to Beka.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the model that I've employed and why it has worked so well. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
We are going to start over.
Is that how the show starts out?
No!
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about Steve Akley's models.
That's probably going to play. Actually, we'll see. We'll see. So, I will say, I kind of want to get out of the way of this one and let you guys talk, but I will say this. This is the case where people are like, is he successful? Is he? I've been working in this business now for almost 10 years. And as my primary source of income, as my only job, I don't have another job. Most people that are doing what I'm doing have another job. It's a side hustle for them. It's something that they do on the side. And and I've seen lists ranked to 100 of the most influential online influencers. I'm not on that list, so I'm not on any sort of radar. So you're like, is he successful? But the fact that I've been able to do this as my primary job for almost 10 years at this point, and also the fact I'll say I've never been given a break. A lot of the people that do what I do have helped one another. They've given each other writing jobs on things. They've encouraged one another by getting them on panels and things like that on bourbon festivals and things like that. I never get invited to any of that stuff. I'm not part of that world where they help one another, but somehow, some way I've managed to do that. So I feel like I'm doing something right, but I want to turn over to you guys. Why do you think what I've been able to do works?
I think that the diversity of all the things that you do has been a really big thing. Like, you're not just trying to do one singular podcast about and have one singular model of a podcast. That's what I meant by models, Steve. All of your models.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But you have such diversity in what it is that you do. I mean, you have, how many books have you wrote, Steve?
Yeah.
How many?
Lots.
A lot. I
Yeah.
looked you up on Amazon once, and I was like, what the hell? I'm like, there's so many books.
Right.
You have tons of books. You've got TV, which, you've got documentaries,
Yep.
TV shows, you've got YouTube, you have numerous different podcasts that you've done over the years.
Publications.
Publications,
Bourbon
the
Zeppelin,
social media,
yeah.
the newsletters, your
Yeah.
barrel shop. I mean, you don't just do one thing. And I think that that's one of the reasons that you are so successful, is the fact that you make sure that you're kind of in a little bit of everything. And you're not just trying to kiss the big guys' asses. you're talking to everyone. You're talking to the smaller craft guys. But you also have, I mean, Jack Daniels loves you.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you've got a ton of people that you work with, and it's not just one singular entity that you work with. It's tons of different ones. And you just have such a widespread reach across the world, really. I mean, because there's people across the world that listen to your podcast and read your publications and watch your movies, all those things. I mean, you're everywhere.
Thank you, Beka. I appreciate that. Yeah.
So, as one of the 3 people in this call right now that probably wouldn't be related to the bourbon industry at all if you weren't somehow in our lives, I think that the one thing I've really noticed, and this is something I've been trying to adopt, is the way you talk about whiskey, the way you talk about whiskey with people at the shop, the way you talk about whiskey on the podcast. It is down to earth. It is not super geared towards the things with the big marketing campaigns and all the nonsense that also goes on in this whiskey world. You talk about what you want to talk about in whiskey. You want to talk about people that are doing it right, no matter the size of their distillery. If they're doing it right, you want to highlight how they're doing things right. And I think that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I am on the quest for the best whiskey, and that does encompass everything from small people who are making a barrel a week to the Jack Daniels of the world that are cranking it out. If they're doing a good job, if they're making good whiskey, I'm interested in their products. And another thing that I don't do is I don't bash. You're going to find out a lot of bad ones along the way.
That was another thing that I was about to say that one too, is that we bash some things, but not whiskey wise. We bash other stuff.
Right. Sure.
But when it comes down to the actual like base of what it is that you do, I don't ever hear you bashing whiskey. I mean, we talk about all types of whiskey and different flavors. And like, if you don't like something, you're not going to hop on a podcast and go, I think that this tastes like dirt and it tastes disgusting and it's terrible. You just won't talk about it.
Exactly.
You're not going to, if you think a brand sucks, and now that's not saying that just because, let me clarify, let me do a disclaimer, just because Steve Akley does not talk about you, that does not
There's a lot
necessarily
out
mean
there.
that
Right.
Steve
Correct.
thinks that you suck, but Steve will not talk about a brand if he does not think that if he just doesn't think it's good, he's just not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's just the gist
I
of it.
figure over time
I
it'll
think
take
it's
care of
nice.
itself. Yeah.
Well,
if you're making bad whiskey, it'll eventually catch up to you.
Yeah, and I just think that it really sucks listening to a lot of podcasts that all they do is just bash on every single thing. They bash on craft stuff. They think it's just too much corn. They bash on this, they bash on that, and it's exhausting. This world is
I don't like single malts.
Yeah,
I'm complaining about single malts.
It's so fucking negative as it is. Like, everything in the world is so negative. We don't need to hear more negative reviews. There's so many negative reviews about everything in the world.
Right.
And that's something that you don't do. And it's just like, that is refreshing. Granted, we can be negative about many other things, but not when it comes down to the whiskey, which is what we do here.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, for me, Steve, when I got back into whiskey and like 2007, 2008, 2009, and was kind of on my own journey at that point, kind of building up to 5280 whiskey, you were really one of the first people that I followed, like in that type of setting, like for podcasting or the different shows and the network and your different, you had so many, and it was a place where I would go and kind of listen and learn too, as well as I was learning and kind of gaining knowledge and whatnot. And then, you know, you were one of the people that, you know, brought up 5280 and talked about us and talked about some of the things we were doing and some of the things I were doing. And I appreciate that. I mean, I think that my story is the same for probably a lot of people, where you have been someone that's helped them kind of with what they were doing and tell their story. And so I would say you're kind of a storyteller in a way of like the small guy or the person that's getting into whiskey for the first time, or someone that's been doing it for a while. But I know that you've had influence on not just me, but others. And I appreciate what you've done. I mean, we didn't even mention the movies. You know, I think like Kindred Spirit and Colorado Whiskey, which you had a part to be with you on that. And I know I was the star of that movie, and probably
That's why that one's been so successful.
is that one? Is that why it probably it's sold
Right,
so many
yeah,
copies? My family can't buy anymore, but but we tried to buy some. But no, but I mean, it's well done. I mean, you look for what's going on out there, and you also have employed a lot of people. You've employed and brought a lot of people into the whiskey industry in that regard. So a lot of respect for you and the model. I think the model is honesty and integrity and trying to do things the right way. And you take it serious and you take the industry serious, which I appreciate. We talk about those influencers and some of those other podcasters and whatnot. I think a lot of them are about promoting themselves.
Yeah.
And I've said this before.
I hate that. Gosh, I hate that. I have a hard time. I have a hard time with that, man.
Yeah, and you don't. It's not about promoting you. It's about promoting the industry and raising all ships in whiskey. And that's what's needed, especially I feel like in the industry is people that continue to shed light on what's out there and not just doing it because they want to get those followers or get on the stage somewhere, this or that. It's because they truly believe in promoting what we all think is a great spirit, and something that we enjoy sharing. So
What you're saying, Nate, I mean, like the Barrel Shop.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
that is the epitome of lifting up brands that you would have never heard of. This is all stuff that would never be in Missouri other than because of Steve Akley. And it's stuff that people would never, ever have tasted or heard of. But Steve Akley put it in their hand. He did a barrel pick. They got to taste stuff that they would never, ever search out and find in their lives, or because they wouldn't even know to search it out. But Steve went out there and he's done the work and he's found these cool places that deserve to be highlighted, and he's brought them to the public's eyes. And that's a huge deal. And it's a huge deal for a ton of these small brands that like they are doing it right, but it is hard to get, actual recognition for what it is that you're doing.
I will tell you guys this. When I was laying in bed with Beka and she was reading these
Hold on.
Whoa.
Hey now.
when you read me these shows off, tell me what the shows are going to be. I was like, I really want to be on this show that talks about Steve Akley, because the show before that was about Neely, and you guys wouldn't even know about Neely. The model of Neely would not have worked without the model of Steve Akley, and I cannot stress that anymore. And I can't say that any more authentically than that. And that is the big word that comes to me when I think of Steve Akley. And the ABV network and what you built is authenticity, right? So you are who you are, Akley. I mean, you bring a cool group of people around. You're so positive. That's what drew me to you in the beginning, was this positivity. And you didn't care that I was making 14-month-old whiskey. You tried it. You gave it an honest opinion, and you allowed it to grow from that. And I would not be here today. The model of Neely Family Distillery would not be here without the ABV network. And that's not just me. Stumpy Spirits probably wouldn't be here. Deerhammer wouldn't be here. I mean, there's a lot of us that wouldn't. Buzzard's Roost would not be here.
Investment whiskey.
Yes, investment whiskey. Without you giving up. Hidden Barn would not be here today without you, Steve Akley. You invited me to come down to New Orleans. I met Nate at New Orleans. We connected through the ABV network, and that's what brought Jackie on board and everything, and got all of Hidden Barn connected. We would not be here today without what you've done. I wouldn't have met my wife without you. I mean,
that's wild, yeah.
I just think about it. I'm serious. Like, I think about how important you have been in my journey to get to where I'm at. It would not have happened without you giving me the voice to be able to get out there and you talking so much about it. I mean, hell, at this point, you have allowed my grandfather to live on past his life. You know what I mean? Like, the writing and the things you've done, and I mean, he's preserved now. It's unbelievable what you've done. So I just want to throw that out there and just say, how much I appreciate the model that you have done to get to this point. Has allowed a lot of us to survive to get to this point as well. And that's a big deal to me.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
It's a big deal to a lot of people, Steve.
Thank you.
Don't get as much recognition on that as you should. And I think that people forget about it a lot of times. And like I've been on this show for 7 years, or who knows how long I've been here. It's been around forever, it feels like. And just the amount of different distillers that I've talked to on this show that like maybe people would have never even heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
And you were inviting them on because you wanted to hear their story. You wanted to get them out there.
I got 40 emails the other day about the 3-chamber still. You know, the only person that wrote about the 3-chamber still I was putting in was Steve Akley. Quick Bourbon Notes. And everybody read that and responded to it. I mean, the following, I mean, you have no idea how much you've helped me build my company. And I just want you to know how much I really appreciate that.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Who wants to follow that?
Good luck, Steinkamp.
Steinkamp, what do you got to say, buddy?
So here's the thing about that I appreciate about Steve is if you really genuinely want to learn about whiskey and the bourbon industry, and it goes back to some of the same things I said about Royce, right? Steve was committed. I'm out of the corporate world. I'm done. You know, that's it. I'm going to do this, and went all in, sleeping on couches, staying in offices, the same deal, right? And you can go to Bronner's place. He says, that's Steve Akley's couch, right? It's still there.
Right.
So you got that commitment, right? You got the historian part, but as a guy that was like hungry for knowledge, and he gives me shit about it when I'd be like, tell me more. I just wanted to learn more. But he was so patient and said, yeah, well, when I was saying stupid stuff, like I was a tater when I came in to the ABV shop, and I've learned. He's just
tater?
very. What?
Yeah, I'm not sure what word. I don't know what you're. Why are you speaking in past tense there?
Yeah, still,
Mr.
there's
Himself
was
I've
a
still got
tater.
some
He's
tater
giving it
in
up.
there. Yeah,
Gentlemen and lady, both. Look at the Bruzel videos. All right, Bruzel, fantastic. I'm not knocking Bruzel at all, but the best part of those Bruzel videos is Steve's knowledge in them. Look how good he sounded as he's talking up those brands.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, what I got to pay you, Akley, to talk me up like that?
We've all been through that with him already,
I mean,
Royce.
look at the videos. You know, I mean, what he's built over there. There's so much to it. I mean, the documentaries. I know that you all don't know this. I know this because I talk to Akley probably every day at 6 a.m. Now that I'm getting up earlier, about the time my grandpa would have liked me to have got up in the past, Akley's always up working. He's always working. I always know I'd call Steve Akley in the morning because he's up hustling. Akley is the definition of a hustler, and it's paid off. Me and Akley have talked about this, like COVID about killed both of us. It could have killed either one of us. It killed a lot of us. Look at what it done to most people in our industry, both on the media side and the distillery side. I mean, it's closed a lot of people down still. But, you know, we're like, I don't know, like cockroaches, right? We persevere. We can get through it. I'm serious. We're like a cockroach.
Right.
That's for sure.
I'm serious.
I know you're a fucking cockroach.
We just work our asses off to get through it.
Oh yeah.
You can't kill us.
Look at what Steve did during COVID, which also, and I know Steve's aware of this because people have said it, but Steve saw COVID and was, for one, he was like, cool, I'm going to drink at 8 a.m. But he also saw it as, cool, I can bring people together and do these different, events for everyone. And like those events, like for some people, like pretty much like saved their lives because they were going insane because you couldn't do anything and you weren't around any of your friends. And it was like so depressing and so sad. I mean, suicides were up very high during COVID because people were so depressed and sad and lonely. And Steve starts putting together these events. He's got all these whiskey tastings going on. You had just like happy hours you were doing. And that just brought like so many people together. And it was like fun and just a relief, I think, for so many people. And like you could have just been like, well, I guess you had just started doing live events. We had just started doing cool events at different places. And you were like, son of a bitch, like that's what I was trying to get into. And now we can't. And instead of just being like, well, I guess I'm fucked, you went, well, I mean, I already do Zoom events as it is. Like we pretty much like this is a Zoom event that we do every Sunday and every Friday. You were like, hell, I can do this during the week. I can bring people together during the week. And you were having massive attendance in some of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the biggest one you had was, but I mean, like there was some and it was just like I just see these windows just keep popping up and popping up.
Yeah,
and I'm
like
like
4 screens of windows.
yeah, and it's like I'm trying to slide through and I'm like, who are all these people? Like, what the hell? And there's people signing up for events that had never been on. And that's when they joined the network. And it was a huge deal to just so many people. I mean, there was, you had, one person reach out, they'd listen to the shows during their cancer treatments. I mean, like,
Rudy Heilman. I was
Yeah.
going to say that. I mean, Rudy Heilman, I don't want to speak for the guy, but I mean, literally, the man was dying from cancer, and he got through his cancer treatments by listening to through the Bourbon Daily, through the ABV network. That kept him positive enough to go through all of that, and he's doing great today.
Yeah.
so I think that just Steve, like,
I mean, for the love of God, Freddie Johnson's in the Bourbon Hall of Fame and he'll tell you that.
How many
100%
people?
From Steve Akley.
Yeah, how many
And
people?
going to be Jason Bronner coming up. I mean,
And Jerry
Dalton.
Jerry Dalton as well. I mean, they'll tell you straight up. Freddie Johnson's the first to tell you, I wouldn't be here without you. That's why you were sitting at this table. I mean,
Yeah.
it is incredible what you've done, man.
Yeah, I'd say.
And I mean, it just keeps going and going. I mean, hell, just going to the down to Key West every year. That's turned into a great event for a lot of us to get away, enjoy ourselves. But there's a lot of business that goes on down there.
Creativity is one of your models is one of the reasons why what you're doing works so
I
well.
mean, damn, there's a Neely documentary coming out. That would have never happened without Steve Akley.
Yeah, I mean, just
I mean, my family history being preserved because of Steve Akley.
I mean, creativity, diversity, those are some of the things that you've put into this that
You're
have.
just fucking authentic, man.
Yeah,
You're just
that
not a
have-
douche. There's so many.
Whoa,
No. Contrary to what the internet says. Contrary to, you just ain't got, I ain't trying to throw anybody else out, but you ain't wearing no fucking ascot. You ain't playing no fucking games. You're just who you are. And people resonate to that. And it's fun to be around.
Yeah.
It's fun to be around. And I
So
love it.
another thing that you do so incredibly well, you have this great following, but you also invite people into that following. And I know I missed most of those events, but when you used to do the thing that Swiat does now, you would invite the distillers to talk about themselves,
Right.
and represent themselves. You did all the effort of finding the people both to do the event and doing it, but then you gave them a minute to step back and really convey how great this bourbon industry is by having people from all sorts of walks of life that you've known through the years and exposing them to more people. I have met more cool people in my life since I started working at the shop than I will ever, or I have ever before. It is not anything similar. It is amazing your connection to also, hey, I have this really cool stage, but it doesn't need to be about me all the time. I can share this one, and we can invite Kartik to the shop, or we can invite Jason Bronner or Neely Family Distillery and have them talk about their experiences. And that is part of a lot of the industry's influencers start being like, oh, it's all about me. People care what I have to say. You're like, cool, this is what I have to say. And here's an awesome ass distiller. Let's bring them in and talk to them about that too. I think that is so cool.
Darren, I would say that it's not even Steve sharing the stage; it's Steve giving them a stage.
Yeah, that's probably a better way of saying
what Steve does. Like, Steve doing a show about himself is fine because Steve's not putting himself on a pedestal ever. Steve is always putting other people on a pedestal above him.
Yep.
And that's one of the models that works because it is important to, put a lot of these brands up there and highlight those things, and it brings people to Steve. But then Steve does get, kind of pushed to the side because people forget that he's the guy putting it all together.
He's authentic. That's Steve Akley.
Yes.
That's who he is.
And it's just that, like, Steve is not on the stage sharing it. Steve is giving the stage to so many different people, so many different brands, just so many different things just in general. And, like, that is a huge part of what Steve does, is just giving them, like, people the stage to talk and giving them the stage to talk about Colorado whiskey, to talk about Missouri whiskey, to talk about everything. I mean, it's just a massive thing that Steve has done about blending is trending.
Well, and I mean,
Kindred spirits.
you guys all know this too. Everybody that's on here. I mean, Nate is one of the most connected guys in bourbon that I've ever met. But Steve Akley is the most connected guy in bourbon that I've ever met. And I get to ride Akley's coattails all the time just to go to different distilleries and go behind the scenes. It's a blast. Steinkamp, we had a great time down there at Jack Daniels. I would have never got to do that without Steve Akley. And I mean,
Yeah, it
that's
was
just
incredible.
That's just the first one. I've got so many. I would have never met Dick Stowe without Steve Akley. Dick Stowe changed my distilling future because of
Awesome.
Steve Akley. Honestly, Andrew Weebrink changed my distilling. I would have never met Weebrink without Steve Akley. Akley's the one that convinced me to come down there to New Orleans in 18. That's where I met Weiniger at. That's where I met Weebrink. It changed everything that I'm doing today.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
One of the coolest things, and this kind of goes back to last episode too, when Weebrink came into the shop, the number of regional distillers that came in to hear him speak, that Steve brought all them together. But the cool part for a guy like me still learning was I just sat back and watched those guys ask questions and just geeked out over the questions they were asking and what they wanted to know. And, and that is exactly what we're talking about. Steve bringing people together to help make everybody better, for us to enjoy more bourbon, better whiskey, and putting people in positions to learn more and appreciate it more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, Nate, if Akley's poker model would keep up with his whiskey model, he'd be a lot better off with money wise. But
he's not a good poker player. Just
can't do it all.
False.
You can't do it all.
There's a tournament that happens at in the Speakeasy. Akley's winning.
Oh.
But he also did get eliminated first at Bistro, so.
That's going to happen.
You can't win them all.
Hey,
who won that night?
None of that.
I remember who won that night. I wasn't there, but I heard about it.
Big time. I took all that money, invested it in some of those charcoal barrels.
Charcoal cups. Perfect.
That's what the host is Steve Akley and what he's done with the ABV Network. To Steve Akley.
Cheers.
Thanks, gang.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Be here without you, buddy.
Thank you for all you've done, Steve.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, great show. Really fun to hear. I for some reason I thought I was going to have to be talking the whole time, trying to convince you guys.
Typical Steve Akley.
So it's cool to hear you guys talking about it, and it means a lot for sure. And it's been one of the most rewarding things is people that remember. Not everyone has remembered what I've been able to do to help them and help build them up. Some of them I'm a stepping stone to get to the next thing, to get to the guy with the ascot or something like that. I got to get famous enough where I get on his radar. And I have multiple examples of people that have then got to that level and they forget about me. They could care less about me at that point because they've now played in the Super Bowl. They feel, but it's also fun to see. That can get you mad and get you disappointed in people, but there's way more that remember those things and do a lot of cool things for me. A lot of the cool things we're able to do at the ABV Barrel Shop or the ABV Network is because of the relationships and people that do remember that stuff. The people that remember that you cared when no one else did. So that's kind of a cool thing for sure. All right, we're going to wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Steinkamp, we're going to start with you. Where can people find you?
Facebook and Instagram, Investment Whiskey.
Darren.
You can find me working at Steve Akley's Greatest Creation at the ABV Barrel Shop. I'm there at least 5 days a week. It feels like I've been there all the time lately, but we are having some fun. And you can also find me on Instagram at the Bourbon Adventures.
All right, Nate.
5280 Whiskey on Instagram and Hidden Barn Whiskey, all one word on Instagram. And I do have a Facebook page, but it's private. But if you get in there, you're going to be disappointed.
I'm hoping to get in there. He won't accept me into the private.
After the show, you might be in.
Yeah, I've heard all
maybe I'll
talk. Maybe accept that friend request. We'll see.
Miss Beka Sue and Royce, where can people find you two?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, and you can find Neely Family Distillery across all socials.
All right,
and
for me,
in Sparta, Kentucky.
Yes, come by and see them for sure. It's definitely worth going there. Absolutely, one of the great distillery visits you can make is at Neely. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Come by and see me. The ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. Hopefully I'm there talking whiskey, and I want to talk with you about it, so come by and see me, abvbarrelshop.com, see what we've got going on. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing with you, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Fartits. We'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akley production.